Lions fans, we are officially done with day 1 and day 2 of the NFL draft, at least for the Detroit Lions. I'm hoping just made a move for defensive tackle. But we got so much more to talk about, so many great things to talk about. We'll take a look inside. Let's dig in. Fans, so let's talk about it, man. Day 1 of the NFL draft yesterday was an absolute blast. I had a great time myself, way out in Mount Pleasant, man. We were out there, me, Lions Nation Unite, Mike Hember, Avery from Spirit of Detroit, with, of course, Dose of Dion 2.0, man, and Chrissy and Herm and everyone else, man. We had a great time yesterday, a lot of great experience, a lot of great time meeting a lot of great fans, man. And speaking of fans, one of my subscribers walked up to me yesterday and gave me something special. I know some of you guys heard the story already, but for you guys who didn't, I just want to take the opportunity and just give a great shout out to John, man, for being a great person. Walked up while we were live yesterday, man, and just handed me a bag. And I said, "What's in this bag?" You know, open it up, and what do I see? A 1996 Barry Sanders Hawaiian Pro Bowl jersey, gifted to me by one of my subscribers, man, and it meant the world to me yesterday, man. It's not too often where you get that experience. I have people walk up all the time to say what's up, but I never get that type of experience where someone give me something like that. That's man, just exclusive. I can't wait to have Barry to sign it, and man, I just want to say thank you for that. And as far as the Sword and Eagle Casino and Resort, it was just a great experience, man. Great experience. You know, Herm was up on stage doing his thing, you know, and we had a lot of special guests, man. So with that said, I enjoyed every single second of it, especially with my brothers up there. We kept it, you know, going. We were live the whole entire time, man. It was a long day. Got on the road this morning, came home, and what do I get? I get to do the second and third round. So we just finished up 4 hours of that as well. So like I said, the Lions just made a move to grab a defensive tackle. So we'll talk about that. But first and foremost, we got to talk about the main topic over the last day. Detroit Lions, 6th pick, decide to move out of it, go down to 12, and we draft Jahmyr Gibbs, who's a hell of a player, man. Awesome player, man. Swiss Army knife guy. You know, 4.3 speed. Just super duper talented, man. Bijan had already, you know, went ahead of him. So we get Jahmyr Gibbs, man, and he is the perfect complement to what we have in the backfield already. You've seen the reports out about DeAndre Swift probably getting traded. We'll just watch and see what happens with that situation. But if you are going to move on from Swift, Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy that's obviously a good replacement, right? So Swiss Army knife type of back, can catch and run. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the player. I had issues with us moving back out of 6 and passing on a couple of guys that I really want to hear in a Detroit Lions jersey, but you know, I wasn't a fan of moving back to 12 and taking Jahmyr. I felt like Jahmyr probably just could have been there at 18, even though, you know, what they said with the Patriots. Listen, the Patriots been manipulating us in the draft for too long. I'm tired of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of it. So I think they were just trying to move us out of the way to get who they got, because I feel like they probably said, hey, they got rid of Okudah, maybe they're going to take Gonzalez or whatever. Anyway, the politics, right? Well, the thing with Jalen Carter was available, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I wanted Jalen Carter here in the Detroit Lions uniform simply because of what he could do to this this defense in general. I want the Lions to go and get some guys at that part of the draft that can come in and just drastically change everything. And having him in the middle, giving, you know, Alim McNeill and those guys a true guy in the middle, that's going to be an impact, right? That was big time for me. The agenda was the same and consistent that it's been since the end of the season for me. Defense. I wanted something on that defensive line. I wanted either defensive tackle or a defensive edge, which Wilson was actually my number one guy. You know, I explained that to you guys before that, man. I loved watching Wilson's film and, you know, what he has to offer with his height and his ability. I really like that pick, even though he's raw when it comes to technique and things like that. We've heard that all before, right? With this coaching staff that we had, I had a lot of faith in them, you know, being able to transform him into that guy. So, you know, and when you look at a Jalen Carter situation, obviously the Lions, I truly do believe that they didn't even have him on this board, which for me, I had a problem with that personally, but that's just my opinion. Brad Holmes is going to do what Brad Holmes does, and he's going to live with the picks that he makes, right? So I can live with that. Then we turn around and we draft Jack Campbell, and I actually was happy about that. So Jack Campbell, listen, man, not the fastest guy. Definitely can do multiple things out there, though. He can play. He played in the Big Ten, a different part of the Big Ten, right? I get it, you know what I'm saying, when it was competition level. But watching him on tape and what he has to offer and what he can do, man, I think that, you know, the Detroit Lions got a solid guy there at the 18th pick. Could he possibly been there? Yeah. But they went and got the guys that they wanted, right? You keep hearing that theme. They went and got the guys that they wanted. And that guy that they wanted, I have no problem with. So it's obviously, you know, a different league, right, in the NFL. A lot of guys are much faster. Him being a guy, a 4.7 guy, you know, when it comes to speed, that is a concern to me. We'll see how that plays out, right? We've had a history with 4.7 guys in Jelani Tavai and with Teez Tabor. You know, and we said some of the same things when they were drafted. Man, look at the film. They play this, they play that. It's college. This is the NFL. You got a lot and multiple guys. Listen, what did we just see Jordan Davis do last year in the combine? You know what I'm saying? Guys can move in this league. So with that said, that's probably the only question mark that I would have when it comes to Campbell, man. I know the guy can play football, so I have no problem with that. But those were your day one picks, man, and we just have to, you know, whether we like it or not, we have to live with it. That's what Brad Holmes did. And yeah, as far as that goes, the guys that he selected, I have no problem with, man. It's just the way that it happened. Maybe I had a problem with. Day two is where Brad Holmes recovered for me. Even if I had a problem with this and that, day two was a little bit more. I'm going to be honest with you. The 34th pick with LaPorta, I wasn't all the way on board with that. Simply because I have concerns about what we do with tight end here with the Detroit Lions. LaPorta is simply a receiving tight end, and he's on the shorter side. They were being nice, but on TV they told it like it was 6'3.5" is his height. I like tight ends to at least be 5 feet. You know, I mean 6'5". I'm sorry, 6'5". I said 5 feet. Good Lord. 6'5" and up. I like bigger guys. Michael Mayer was right there. I would listen. Give me some baby Gronk action all day long. I would have took Mike Mayer, but they took LaPorta. I'm a trusted pick, right? Automatically off the strength. You earned it, Brad Holmes, off of what you did last draft. I'll take it, right? But I still have concerns with the size, man. Barely pushed the sled in the combine. You know what I'm saying? So he's not that type of guy. You draft him to throw the ball. So Ben Johnson, it's up to you to give us offense where we throw the ball to the tight end a lot more this season. because we all know the history. We can go back with the Hockenson thing and everything else. We're not going down that rabbit hole today. I need y'all to throw him the ball. You drafted him, throw him the football. Okay? All right? Right. So, after that, man, like I said, the Lions, there's so many trades. I don't even want to read through all the trades and the picks. We did this, that, and this, and that, and the third. We just going to keep it solid, man, and just go with who we picked. And the next pick was the pick where I was like, okay, now we're talking. We went and got Brian Branch, man, from Alabama. And that is such a solid pick. Such a solid pick, man. The fact that he's going to get the experience, man, to also be around guys like C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man, is going to be great for me. I really, really like this pick. Like I said, to keep adding to that group back there, and he's a versatile guy. So he's a versatile guy. Versatility tends to be something that continues to stick over these drafts with Brad Holmes. So him being a versatile guy, man, is great for me, man. It's absolute steal. He's that steal. That's what he is to me. So, but he's not the biggest steal. He is not the biggest steal of this draft. The biggest steal of this draft, literally, was the first time that I got out of my seat and I was actually excited. Y'all know how much I've been talking about Hendon Hooker, especially if you know me. Listen, we did it the perfection in the way that Brad Holmes did this, right? So when you look at the trades, just acquiring more and more draft capital, moving back. And then in the third round at the 68th pick, you go and get me a guy that was a Heisman Trophy candidate, a guy that was easily one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker. I finally, as a Lions fan, in my 30-plus years of being a Detroit Lions fan, for the first time my franchise has went and got a young quarterback to bring in tutelage behind our current. Just in case things go sour after the contract is up with Goff, if we don't want to pay him, and if we do have something in Hendon Hooker, we got some type of security. But not only then, if the recovery continues to go well with Hooker, Goff goes down, forbid that, but Goff goes down, you got a young guy that can step in. Man, why was that so hard over all the years, especially when Matthew Stafford was here for the Lions to do? Instead of going to get some old bum, we finally go in the draft and get our guy in the third round. Kudos to Brad Holmes. Great job, Brad. And then right at the very end of this draft, I'm not sure if it's still going, but I had already got off. But we go and get a defensive tackle, and we're going to talk about that in a second. We go and get a defensive tackle, man. We go and get Broderick Martin. At this point in the draft, grabbing a defensive tackle pretty much is another type of a Lynn McNeil type of pick, where I feel like it's going to end up being a guy that's going to take a couple years to really start catching, right? My biggest issue, and we going back to the beginning with yesterday, yeah, you didn't take the guy I want. I'm not going to sit here and cry and pout about that. You didn't fulfill the position that I wanted us to fill. Defensive tackle. Or defensive edge. With an impact guy. That's what this draft is at. That's the state of this team, right? We're at the point where we're getting ready to go to the playoffs and start competing. You want to start plugging in guys that are game busters, man, as playmakers, right? Well, when you look at this draft, you had some options after Carter. Carter was the most dominant as far as what he had advertised on film. Whether he's lazy in practice or not, when it was game day, he was there. So, I just wanted a defensive tackle. I just wanted a defensive tackle. And we finally get one. We had to trade up to do it at the very end of the third round. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what else I'm going to say about it? You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted done. I want a defensive tackle that's going to be an impact guy. I want a number 2 receiver because J-Mo is out 6 games. Amon-Ra St. Brown is unique in his own position. We don't have number 1 and number 2 at receiver. I wanted that possibly in this draft. So when you look at the needs, there's still some holes. You know what I'm saying? Feel like we could be a whole lot more solid in the middle of that defensive line, right? And we can also add more help to help what we do have on the edges. So, you know, like I said, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to give Brad Holmes a solid, and I'm going to say, hey, listen, everyone was productive who you drafted last year. So I'm going to give you that credit going into this draft and saying, you know what you're doing. I can at least do you that solid, right? So that's where we at with this draft. My draft grade, as far as the overall draft in totality, is going to be the grade of a B. I'm going to give this draft a B simply because I have questions about a couple of players that we did take. So, you know, with that said, that's my opinion. That's my grade, and I'm looking for you guys. What's your opinion on the draft? What would you like to see done different? Do you feel like everything was done right? Who do you have a question about in this draft that we took? Leave that in the comments section. I'm looking forward to reading some of those comments, man. And we'll continue to dig into these guys one by one. It's go time when it comes to evaluating these guys that we have. And Hendon Hooker, Jameer, those guys are going to be fun. So look forward to that. And with that said, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I know it's been a long process. So we still got day 3 tomorrow. So I won't be doing live tomorrow, but we'll be covering after we make those selections. So look forward to that. With that said, I'm going to bed. It's late. Good night.